Hello, my name is Carl Surrey and this is a video tutorial for the Facebook group called Fans of Serif Software. This is a beginner's guide part 10 and we are going to be looking at the pen and line tool. Now this image I have on screen here is the one I use for the beginner's guide part 9, where I was using the deform tool, and I drew these. I had already had this picture set up where I've drawn these lines on the image to show how the picture looks like it converges, and I used the deform tool to straighten up these lines. If you want to check out that video, that is also on YouTube. But when I did that, a person called Martin Mackay, who is very new to picture editing and PhotoPlus, wanted to know how I drew the lines on the image. So I thought I'd make the next beginner's guide about that subject. So I'll just get rid of that and go to a blank screen that I've preset. Now, down the left hand side of the screen you have all the tools. It's called the Tools Toolbar here, and the third one from the bottom you have the pen tool, and a little arrow next to it. If you click on that, it will give you all the tools that are available from this point. So the pen tool can be accessed from here or by pressing P. There's a freehand pen tool, and the one which I used to draw the lines on the image was the line tool. Now I'm going to have a very quick look at each of these, and hopefully this will help Martin and any other newbies to PhotoPlus to learn a little bit more and to look into it a bit more and to learn a bit themselves. Now the pen tool and the freehand pen tool, I freely admit I almost never use. I don't really find much use for them, but I will just have a very quick look at them. So let's start with the pen tool. Now when you select the pen tool, you have some options along the top here, which is shape layer, paths, add to a new layer, and then you can add to paths, subtract, intersect and exclude. Also that works with these tools, all three of them, is the color that you draw. Now this is set by the foreground color, which is up here, which is currently set by default on black, but I'm going to change the color just to show you how you can do. You can just click inside this black box, which will open the color selector box, and I'll just pick a random red color, click OK. So red is now the foreground color. So when I draw now, it will be in red. So I'm going to just select anywhere on this white background. I'm going to click and hold, and as you can see, it's drawing a line, but it's got little handles on each end. And when I let go of the button, nothing dramatically happens yet until I do the next click, which will alter the shape completely. And when I let go of the button, and I really do not understand how or why it makes certain shapes. So if you're trying to make a certain shape, I wouldn't even begin to try and explain to you how to do it. It is, as far as I can tell, random, and I've yet to work out what does what. But it has made that red figure 8 on a new layer I should say, with the layer mask blocking off the effect. But if I delete that layer mask, or vector mask I should say, it will go to a solid red, because that is basically what has been drawn, and the vector mask was blocking off the effect outside of the area. So I will delete that as well. So as you can see, the pen line is still there. I could then just click and remove that pen line. Now I'm not quite 100% certain the need for this next one, which is paths, because it does work in a similar way, but it doesn't fill in any colours, and it doesn't make any new layers, and I really do not understand the need for it beyond it making weird shapes. So I'll just press Control and Z a few times to get rid of that. I'll go back to the shape layer, and you've also got, like I said, other options here like intersect, exclude, subtract and add. But what I'll do is I will click on intersect, and then I will draw some images or lines to make this weird image, and then where certain lines intersect, it will change what is being selected. So as you can see, you can make some pretty weird shapes, but why you'd want to, I really don't understand. So I will delete those layers, get rid of that pen line, and then I'll go on to the freehand pen tool. This works in much the same way, and it has the same options. There is an extra one here, which is smoothness, which according to the help files is supposed to make it a much smoother line when you draw if you haven't got a steady hand. But I have practiced this, and it doesn't seem to me to make any difference whether I draw in 5% smoothness or 88% smoothness. But I'll sort of just try and draw, say, a heart shape. There we go. And then, so you or a circle or whatever. So you really need to have a steady hand and be good at drawing. But then again, if you're going to be drawing, you might as well use PhotoPlus, because that program is designed to do that. Again, if I delete the vector mask, you are still working on a solid red layer. So that is the pen tool looked at, and I really do not see that much use for it. But I can see a use for the line tool, which will just draw a straight line. So if I click, and then when I let go, it will draw a straight line, whichever way I want it to go. That is when it's set on fill bitmaps. If I put it on the shape layout one, much like previously, it will put that on a new layer rather than drawing directly to the background. And again, the paths one will draw an unfilled in line, but as soon as you draw another one, the previous one disappears. So again, I don't fully understand why you would use the paths one, but I would keep it on fill bitmaps unless you do want it on another layer. But you have to click on the background layer for that to work, because you cannot work or redraw onto the shapes layer. the S on the end there means it's a shapes layer. Now you do have a few more extra settings here, and the first one is weight, which is basically the line width. It's set on 10 here, and if I move this up, say to 200, that line will be now really quite thick. And again, I'm not certain why you'd want that. So what I'm going to do, I'll just press Ctrl Z quite a few times to get rid of some of these, and just leave that one. I'll go back down to 10% or thereabouts. 16 will do. Yeah, that'll do. And I will zoom in, and we'll look at the anti-alias option, which you just put a tick in. So what I'll do is I'll zoom right in to that 16 one that I just did. And if I untick anti-alias, and then I draw another 16 line next to it, as you can see, that now has jagged edges, whereas the previous one with the anti-alias one with a tick in it had smooth edges. So I'll put that back in, and I'll draw another one there next to it. Obviously, if this had been a dead straight one, it would have had straight edges, even with anti-alias marked or not. It's when you come down at an angle, as you can see that, I mean, obviously that does have jagged edges, but it's even more pronounced when I untick the anti-alias. And as this is zoomed in to, was it 150%, that is more noticeable. If I zoom out to 100%, that one looks smoother, and that one looks all jagged. So I would imagine that most of the time you will want anti-alias ticked, so you have nice smooth edges. I'll just lower this back down to 10. You can have different opacities. This is 100% opacities. If I lower it down to say 40% and draw the line, it is drawing like a pink rather than a solid red. You do have the blending modes as well, so you can blend a bit like on the layers. Again, but I invariably, when I do use this option, I use normal. Let me put this back up to 100%. I'll zoom out again. Now, the only other option you have with this is, like, if you're drawing a line, say diagonally, and then you want to draw another line, and then another line, sort of centering out from the big middle, it's all a bit guessworky as to how far apart they are. But if you hold down the Shift key, it will only let you move in 15-degree rotations. So if I did one there and then come from a similar starting point, it will only let me move in 15-degree angles. So again, I know that these will all be evenly spaced. Admittedly, you are sort of stuck to 15 degrees, but at least you know they are all evenly spaced, which is a bit harder to do when you're doing it yourself, sort of thing. Well, hopefully that is explains what these three tools do, and just to demonstrate it in action, this is a similar image to the one I did before, and then I just click, hold, and let go along all the vertical lines, that I wanted to, if I wanted to continue to demonstrate like I did before, the deform tool. And then, so that is how I drew the lines on that previous image using the line tool. I could have done it on a separate layer. I could have added a new layer and then drawn on that, for example. Let's just do a few random horizontal lines just for fun. And then if I turn that layer off, they now disappear. So you can draw it as on a new layer, or you can draw it on the actual background. It's depends on what you're trying to achieve and which way you want to go about it. So that is that look at the pen tool and line tools finished. Thank you very much and goodbye.